It's Chris Watkin here, joined by Hugh Parfitt, who became a letting agent through the government's Kick Start Scheme. Hugh, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Why did you become a letting agent under the Kick Start Scheme? Talk to me.
Yeah, so it was one of the things that came up, and I just decided, hey, that looks quite interesting. I think I'm going to give that a go. There's ample opportunity in lettings. There always has been, there always will be. And so it's just kind of a thing that I just sort of jumped into.
So what was your educational? You went through secondary school? Did you go to college? Or?
Yeah, so did my A-levels, and then I did my bachelor's at Nottingham University, International Relations. And then in my final year, COVID hit, and it didn't really seem like the right time to jump into an actual job. So I did my master's in international relations, very imaginative. And then I went.
I mean, what sort of jobs would you normally expect to get a job in international relations?
Very incredibly varied, actually. A lot of people typically will kind of go down the route of graduate schemes, and that can be in anything. That can be management schemes, government, civil service fast track, journalism.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't mind me saying, you could have got a job there. Why did you take the Kickstarter scheme?
Well, unfortunately at the moment the job market hasn't been too great, and I need something just to kind of sustain myself. And so I'm actually working, and I'm also in the meantime actually looking for full-time employment.
Do you think being in the property industry could be, and don't commit yourself, but could be for you? Has it opened your eyes?
Yeah. So some of the legislation side has been quite interesting. I've had to read up on ROPA, for instance. So maybe that kind of the legislative path could be quite good.
And I believe you've also been getting some help through Agents Together, haven't you?
That is true, yeah.
Okay, so who's been mentoring you on that front?
Can I say him by name? Paul Offley.
Okay.
It's been really useful. So he was the person that actually said, why don't you give ROPA a read? And it's very useful. And then the meeting after that was really it's kind of eye-opening, really, because we were just discussing how ROPA is going to change the property industry, and that was really one of those moments where somebody just spoke and I just really listened, took everything in.
How did you feel? And I'm going to preface this with a story of my own, but how did you feel doing a degree and then a master's degree, and then almost perception of taking 3 steps back by doing the Kickstarter? And I will just preface with this, is that I did a sandwich degree in the early 90s, and I needed to do a year out in industry to get my degree. And the early 90s was the recession, and I worked for free for a whole year at an estate agent's because there was no jobs and was working at McDonald's and my mum and dad's butcher shop to make the money up.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's not really a problem. I will, I have to be practical and take what I get. And this is really good by comparison. I have many opportunities. I wouldn't be sitting here doing an interview like this. I also think back to previous generations. Like grandfather was building roads during the Great Depression. He didn't complain, so why should I? I have it very easy by comparison.
If you don't mind me saying, you're quite a switched-on young gentleman. Where does that come from? That you're practical, that you're seeing the bigger picture, that sometimes you have to go 1 step back to go 5 forward.
I'm not sure really. I would give all that praise to my parents, I think, and my family members for supporting me along the way, which they have done.
And how long have you got left on the Kickstarter scheme, and where do you hope to take your career after that?
So I think about 3 months. I'm not sure the exact date. So I have multiple kind of paths that I could pursue. So it's the lettings industry, then just keep applying for jobs. My next job, again, I'm sort of trying to be practical. You know, we're coming out of the the problems with COVID, but I've also been thinking of doing a teaching English as a foreign language course, and then maybe perhaps going to Spain and getting started there. But I'm young. I have many different avenues that I can pursue.
Well, I wish you well on that front. If you like the sound of him, then give him a shout. His name is Hugh Parfitt, Parfitt. And are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I am.
Good stuff. Well, I've been impressed with him, and I know Zoe is as well. So there are some absolute gold people out there using the Kickstarter scheme. So do check them out. And Hugh, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me.